Hello, this is a demonstration on how to do security and stability maintenance on a WordPress website hosted by Pantheon. This is specifically for BKW clients, how we do it. And I'm using one of our own websites to show you, so I'm not revealing any confidential information from any one of our clients. But if you are one of our clients, this will work for you. Before you begin to do this on your own, this is of course if you choose not to have us do it for you, before you do this on your own, you will need to go to pantheon.io and create an account. This is the web hosting company that we use. And let us know the email address that you use to make the account, and then we will add you to the team for your website. So let me just show you what I mean. When I log in here, I have access to a lot of websites. You will have access to just your website or websites. I'm going to go to the one that I'm going to be demonstrating for you, BKW Health. And you'll see that there's a team. And so were this to be your website, once you give us your email address that you made the account with, you will see yourself here as a team member. Okay, now, once you're in your website dashboard here at Pantheon, you will see that there are actually three versions or instances of your website. There's the development version, the test version, and the live version. You may notice that there's actually something called multi-dev. This will not apply to you, but what this means is there could actually be infinite or almost infinite versions of your site, but we're really just going to worry about the development, the test, and the live, and I'll explain what those all are in a moment. Now, I have got here actually the development version of the BKW Health website. I'm logged in, which is why you see this black bar above. If we were not logged in to the WordPress environment, that black bar wouldn't be there. And you can see right now you'll see in a second, it looks just like the test version and just like the live version. So it's very important, I've made this mistake myself a bunch of times. It's very important that when you're doing this updating that I'm going to show you, that you make sure to just check what version you're on. And the way to do that is to look in the URL. Here it's dev-bkw-health.pantheon.io. The test is test.bkw, and live is live.bkw, which is exactly the same, by the way, as the actual public URL that everyone sees, which in our case is bkw.bio. Okay? Now, these happen to all look exactly the same, and that just happens to be true at the moment. But usually what happens is people make updates to content on the live website. They might add a team member or remove a team member. They might add a blog post or a news story. They might change content. They might add a page, delete a page. They might add a testimonial. They might, if you're a biotech company, you might update where one of your drugs is in the pipeline. That is all considered content. It's part of the database of the website, and that is done on the live website. And I'm going to do that right now just so you can see. I'm going to do something really simple. I'm going to edit this home page. I'm going to make a minor change. I'm just going to, just for now, I'm going to change design to, I'm going to change social to social media and design to graphic design. And I'm just going to update that. So now when I look at the live website at bkw.bio, it says social media and graphic design. And by the way, if I go to the live-bkw health and I refresh that, it's going to change too, because those are exactly the same websites. But if I go to the test version, test-bkw, and I refresh, it's not going to change because it's a different database. Stayed the same. And it's the same thing if I go to the dev development one, dev.-bkw, and I hit refresh, it's not going to change, as you'll see. So often this is the case. People are making changes all the time to the live website. They're making changes like this, or as I said earlier, adding news stories or changing the pipeline status, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the live website is living and breathing, and the development site and the test sites are not. Now, some people will use the test site or the development site to actually make changes like this, and before they make them live. That's, for really simple changes, that's really not necessary. If you do, you really have to think a little bit differently to how I'm describing things in this tutorial, and you're going to need to keep track of what changes are where. This is why we think it's best, unless you're making heavy-duty changes, to just make all your changes on the live website. Now, in order to do stability and security maintenance, we recommend that once a month you upgrade WordPress to its latest version if it's been changed, and upgrade all the plugins that keep these websites running and operating to their latest versions if they've changed. And that you can only do on the development environment. So that's why that's one of the main reasons the development environment exists. It lets you make changes to the actual code, whereas the live environment is where you make changes to the content. And so let's go now to the dashboard, and let's go to the development environment on the dashboard, and we can see that actually there are updates. WordPress, we've actually not done this in a little bit. Since we've done this, since we last updated our website, WordPress was upgraded to version 6.3 3 months ago, and then PHP, which is the underlying software, was upgraded to a new version. Then WordPress was updated to 6.31 2 months ago, and just 22 days ago it was updated to 6.32. So we might run into an issue here. We're going to have to find this out, is that sometimes with the PHP upgrade, it might break some things. So we are going to have to just hope that this works out. And we're not going to worry about it too much, because as you can see, when I go to the backups, our development site is being backed up every day. So if this breaks, we can just revert to today's version of the website. I am going to apply these updates. Now, in order to even apply these updates, I need to make sure that we are in Git mode versus SFTP mode. So Git mode allows you to do these updates that are presented to you by Pantheon. So I'm going to do those. You'll see there's this little, this is working, and up here in workflows, you can click on workflows and see that I am applying the upstream updates. If you were the one applying them, it would say that you were applying them. So we'll let that go. It takes a little while. I might edit this video so it doesn't, seems to happen instantaneously, like with a cooking show. Okay, updates successfully applied. And it automatically adds a note to that effect. Now, I'm going to go to the development site, visit the site, and it appears that nothing has broken. So this is a good sign. But it's good to kind of look at all the various pages. And I think we're actually in good shape. So I'm then going to go back to Pantheon, and I'm going to switch from Git mode to SFTP mode. And I'm going to then go to the site, go to the dashboard, I'm going to say this is okay. And I can see now that there are quite a few updates. So I'm going to go to the plugins section. And I'm going to just update all of these. You'll notice that there is an opportunity to enable auto updates. You can do that, but it really doesn't save you a whole lot of time, and I just find it useful to do this one by one, just in case something goes wrong. I kind of know what's going on. I can kind of have a better idea what's going on. You can see that not all of them are updated. This one is not updated. Sometimes they give you a warning, like, heads up, please back up before upgrading. But as you saw, we backed up just earlier today, so we're fine. There are rare cases, we'll go through this in a second, where there are problems. But let's just wait for all these to finish and then we'll take a look at the problems. All of these green ones are fine. Just wait for this to finish. So let's refresh this page, and there are far fewer updates now. You should not have this issue, but in our case, you can see here that the license code was not added to this, so it's not updating. I could go get the license code and add it, and I should, and I will, but I'm not going to do that for the purposes of this video. Sometimes, like in this case, it looks like I just had to try again. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's saying unauthorized. Probably similar issue with the license key. Here, I'm going to have to physically upload it. If that's the case, you're going to have to get the plugin code, and you can get it from us, and we can give it to you, and you can upload it. Similar situation there. So each of these might have a slightly different reason. This rarely happens, but when it does, there's some troubleshooting required in each case. Let's in fact see if we can solve this. So I'm going to go to settings for each one. I need to get our So add the license key, activate the license, go back to plugins, and now I should be able to update that one. Good. Now this one, I don't know what's going on. Compliance, I'm going to go to settings. The license. This I don't understand. It says it's valid until, oh, I have to activate the license. There we go. I'm showing you this to show you that sometimes there are little troubleshooting things that need to happen, and they're usually fairly straightforward. So now if I go back to the plugins, and I go back to compliance, the one where we just activated the license, we are good. I will say that sometimes with Elementor Pro, and I don't really know why, it does not always go that smoothly in this process. It'll say it's updated, and then a little bit later it will say that it's not, or it won't. So just, that one's a little bit finicky. Gravity Forms, let's go get it. The odds are you don't even have Gravity Forms on your website. We only use that in certain instances. But there's the latest 2716, so I'm going to download it. They're saying 2716, so I'm going to save that as a zip file. And then up here, I am going to add new. Upload the plugin, choose the file, choose 2716. Install now, and let's see what happens. It's working slowly. You can see a little thing turning there. Be nice if there was some kind of like progress bar over here, but there isn't. Okay, replace current with uploaded. So it's saying current is 2516 and uploaded is 2716. Let's say yes. Again, the only sign that any life is happening is up here. And you could either click this or not. I'm just going to click it. Remember, if something breaks, you always have a backup. And I seem to be in some kind of weird error loop here, so I'm just going to get out of this. And go back into the dashboard and see where we are. Go back to plugins. It looks like only one needs to be updated. And there it is, Premium Add-ons Pro. Let's just see what happens here. We tried this already once. Nope, let's go to Settings. License. Don't know what's going on. Let's just try one more time. Copy that. I don't know if this is going to make any difference. Yes, that seemed to make the difference. So again, there were 4 little issues. They all required a little bit of troubleshooting. If you run into any of those, you're just going to have to like work through each one. But the vast majority of them worked just fine. So now all our plugins are updated. So now you're good. The site seems to be working okay. It hasn't broken. And you'll still, so now this is the development site, dev-bkw-health. It's got the latest code, the latest WordPress, the latest PHP, the latest plugin versions. There are no conflicts. It's all working together. Nothing's broken. But remember, notice it does not have the latest content, right? It still says social and design. It doesn't say, let's go look at our live site, bkw.bio. It doesn't say social media and graphic design. So by extension, if there are a bunch of new blog posts on here, or team members, etc., those would be on the live site, which has the old code, but not on the development site, dev-bkw, that has the latest code. So this has got the latest code, the oldest content. Live has got the newest content, the oldest code. So this is why the test environment exists. Because in this case, the change is so small that there's going to be no problem, but you can imagine that possibly you have some content or design on the live site that is in fact going to cause a conflict with the new code. And you wouldn't know that on the development site because the development site has just the new code and not the new content. And you're not going to know that on the live site because the live site has got just the new content but the old code. And so the test site is just for that very purpose. We are going to now, before we do this, we are going to commit all this code on the development site. And I'm just going to write updating miscellaneous plugins. All right. And that's going to lock in the new code on the development site. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that to the test site. And at the same time, I'm going to move the latest content from the live site also to the test site. And it's going to mush it all together. And if anything were going to break, it would break right there. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the test site. I'm still in the deploys section here. And there are two commits. There's the one that they did. Remember, that was the very first thing we did. We updated PHP. We updated to the latest version of WordPress. And then we've got our miscellaneous plugins. So I'm not going to leave a note because these notes are already here. I'm just going to deploy the code from the development environment to the test environment, but I'm also pulling files and database from the live environment. So now, again, both the latest content and the latest code are going to be put together on the test site. So do it. Deploying code to test and cloning files from live and cloning database from live. Okay, so now let's go to, so conceptually, if we go back to the development site, dev-bkw, this code is the latest code, oldest content. Nothing's changed here. If we go to the test site and I hit refresh, this now ought to have the latest code because we moved it from the development environment, and the latest content because we moved it from the live environment. As you can see here, social media graphic design. So it would be a good idea at this point to just go look at every single page and make sure that nothing is broken. Play with your different sections of your site, make sure everything's okay, including if you have any forms, you want to test out your forms. Make sure, I'm not going to do it now, but just make sure that if this is supposed to send an email to someone, it actually works. Just go through the site and make sure that there's nothing about the latest code that is causing any issues with any of your content. Okay. So here we go. So then all that's left is to go back to Pantheon. So now, just again, just to repeat for the sake of repeating, Dev has got the latest code, the oldest content. Test has got the latest code and the latest content. And currently right now, live-bkw, and of course then just bkw.bio, has the newest content, but still has the oldest code. So we need to go back in here. We need to go to live, and we've got updating missing plugins, update to WordPress, etc., and updating PHP. I'm just going to hit deploy code. And as soon as that process is done, just it's wise to go make sure, again, your live site is not problematic, although the test site was fine, and so your live site should be fine. And then you're good for another month. Okay, and so we are done. Let's go look at the live site. We don't need to look at live-bkw. We just go to the main one, just hit refresh. It's probably wise to log out because sometimes when you're logged in, things are a little bit different to when you're logged out like a regular person would be. And just go through, be a little bit careful, just patient, and just make sure that everything is working as expected. Etc., etc. Okay? I hope that's helpful. Thanks.